Robots. Helpful or threatening? Cute or scary? Whether we like it or not, these machines are becoming more commonplace and fundamental to the way we live our lives.
Let's chat.
Whoops, can you say that again?
In this series, the FT will take a closer look at the roles that robots may play in our homes, in the workplace, and the world around us. We'll show how far this technology is advancing and what the coming robot revolution means for humanity. Need a production line full of hard workers and team players? Humans need not apply. Instead, meet the Uschi robot. His factory colleague Joachim is delighted to have him on board.
Ich fühle mich wohl. Es ist interessant, mit dem Roboter zu arbeiten. Emotional wäre es, denke ich, mehr so mit Kollegen manchmal zu arbeiten. Aber das Roboter ist interessant, weil es gibt immer neue Technologie. Alles, was wir dazu lernen müssen, und mit dem Roboter zu arbeiten.
But will Uschi one day be putting Joachim out of work? Not according to his owners, but others are less sure. Experts and historians suggest we're experiencing the so-called Fourth Industrial Revolution, believing that advances in robotics and artificial intelligence will have the transformative effect that steam power, electricity, and ubiquitous computing achieved in previous centuries. This debate has conjured dystopian visions of factories full of robots. Many fear a robot revolution will decimate jobs, with reports that more than 5 million jobs could be lost by 2020 due to advances in artificial intelligence, robotics, and other technological change. While academics debate the impact of robotics, today the focus for manufacturing and logistics companies like Festo is making Cobots, or collaborative robots. This company, which is based in Stuttgart, Germany, makes automation equipment and has recently introduced Uschi to work in close physical contact with humans. I'm reliably informed that Uschi means very fast robot. It's meant to be a bit of a joke, it's ironic because it's actually quite slow, and that's the point. If I hover my hand nearby, it slows down, and if I touch it, it stops altogether. It shows how heavy machinery can work safely with other workers on a factory floor, and shows how collaborative robots are already working with us.
Ich schätze mal, in 5 Jahren werden wir wesentlich mehr Roboter im Einsatz haben, wesentlich mehr Mensch-Roboter-Kooperationen, ja, wo Teile zugeführt werden, wo einfache Arbeiten gemacht werden, einfache monotone Arbeiten oder aber die Unterstützung von ergonomischen Prozessen, wo einfach schwer ist für die Mitarbeiter, wo sie vielleicht schwere Dinge handeln müssen. Da können wir mit Robotern unterstützen, die eben diese schweren Dinge entsprechend bewegen. Also da werden wir sicherlich in 5 Jahren mindestens das Doppelte oder Dreifache an Robotern hier in der Produktion haben.
Patrick Schwarzkopf argues these machines could be liberating for older workers, as well as providing more stimulating forms of work. He represents more than 3,000 companies at one of the largest industrial associations in Europe.
We have an aging workforce, and especially in Germany, with a demographic shift happening, companies are looking into how can we change workplaces so that people can work in an ergonomic way, so they don't have a back problem, whatever. So the robot could bear some weight, whereas the human worker could do some fidgety stuff, where you need dexterity.
But not all are convinced that cobots will be effective at every job just yet. You might expect the cutting edge of robotics to look silver and sleek like in the movies, but the reality is much more like this. Wires hanging out, homemade materials used for the machinery. We're at a lab at King's College London, and they're working on some of the most advanced robotics research anywhere in the world. They're working on human-robot interaction. They've been working with Baxter, a humanoid robot which is filled with sensors that can detect potential collisions with people, turning off its motors when it gets too close to a human. Another project involves building a prototype that attempts to replicate the tug a guide dog makes to its blind owner. In this way, they are hoping to create a robot that can help firefighters navigate through smoke-filled buildings. Dr. Thrish Nanayakara is a true robot believer, but he has reservations about the adoption of collaborative robots in all industries. In the car industry, robots have been used to assemble cars, but they have been caged off from humans. Dr. Nanayakara thinks the industry will be slow to adopt collaborative robots. Instead, it's sectors like agriculture that could benefit most.
There's a huge shortage of people for agriculture, farms, especially in England. There's a huge political debate about how to recruit workers from different parts of the world. And then those problems, I think, create the vacuum for robots that are safe and intelligent.
Some farmers and animals are already making the move to a robot-assisted workforce. Many processes, such as milking, have been partially automated, but the latest innovation being unveiled are robots that help transport milk around the processing plant. Arla, the milk producer, has invested £150 million on these robots called automated guided vehicles, which carry heavy loads and work in chilled conditions.
The milk comes out of the production area in trolleys, and the machines then pick them up from what's called the grouper area. They will get stored into different areas. So we've got 90 machines that work on 24 hours a day. So from an efficiency point of view, the machines currently cover 15 miles each per day. If we actually added the human element back into that, we would need a significant amount of staff on each of our 5 shifts that we've currently got.
For Arla's almost 13,000 farmers, technology, especially robotics, is key to reviving this troubled industry.
As part of my role, I take farmers to the new dairy at Aylesbury, and we're all really struck with the machines that operate there, in particular the robots that are moving around the milk on the distribution floor. And that really encourages us because it's talking about low cost, it's talking about efficiency, and it's meaning that we can convert our milk into the finished item really efficiently and at lowest cost. I can see lots of potential in the future for greater automation in agriculture. For instance, in my rotary milking parlour, we have men wiping the cows and putting the milking units on. That's a role that could be automated, and indeed I do believe that a robotic rotary milking parlour is in development at the moment. There will be applications in the fields for precision weed selection and weed picking and roles like that, so I see a lot of potential in the future. But I think when we're working with livestock, there will always be a need for that human touch and that human involvement. What I hope we can do is to allow our staff to have more time to concentrate on the animals than maybe doing some of the mundane jobs.
Both Arla and Festo say no jobs were lost due to automation in their workplaces, and that workers now enjoy doing more meaningful, productive jobs, while the machines do the boring tasks. But there are concerns that the benefits won't reach all workers. Trade unions are among those who fear that typically blue-collar jobs may be lost in their millions.
I think we are looking at significant, as the phrase is, hollowing out of employment. It may not happen overnight, it may take quite a few years, but it's certainly the world of work will change. We've got to deal with the fact that there may be people who are not likely to get that steady employment that's always been there in manufacturing, and find out how those people can be suitably employed rather than having a race to the bottom where people are scrapping around for the lowest paid jobs.
At Festo, this has meant retraining workers so that they can work alongside robots. In fact, most of the employees are also being taught to code as well as do manual processes.
Es ist eine andere Form von Ausbildung, eine andere Form von Qualifizierung. Früher war sehr, sehr viel Mechanik und Elektrik, ja, und heute wird es immer mehr Mechatronik, Software, das Bedienen von Software. Ich sehe aber überhaupt keine Schwierigkeit, dass die Mitarbeiter da Probleme haben. Man muss nur mal schauen, wie arbeiten denn oder was machen denn die Mitarbeiter privat? Die haben heute PCs, die haben heute Tablets, die haben iPhones und können einfach mit irgendwelchen Apps umgehen. Und genau das wird in der Produktion eben in Zukunft auch stattfinden. Also da mache ich mir überhaupt keine Sorgen, dass die Mitarbeiter nicht die richtige Qualifikation haben, um mit solchen Systemen umzugehen.
Using cutting-edge robotics is not cheap, and there are fears that only big companies will benefit from the robotic revolution. However, Patrick Schwarzkopf thinks that robots are worth the investment, even for smaller enterprises.
Many small companies are still reluctant but the robots are there, and as the prices are going down, as they're more easy to use, more easy to program, and intuitive to operate, I think that will change very much in the future.
In Croydon, in the outskirts of London, one small print and packaging company has just started to use collaborative robots provided by the Danish company Universal Robots. Real Digital employs over 100 people and has just put its first cobot onto this production line. It costs the company £22,000, relatively similar to the cost of employing one member of staff per year. But how did employees first react to the collaborative robots?
When the first robot come in, everyone started to worry about jobs and everything else. But once you start to explain what they're going to do, and it releases them from the duties that are repetitive, that they don't really want to do, but we have to do as part of the business, and realise you can take those strains and aches and the back pains and the arms and everything else away from them, and enable them to train and go further forward into the business. They were more than happy and actually really worked with us to actually bring it on forward.
For the time being at least, robots still very much need humans. Human beings are required when a system gets jammed or a robot malfunctions. And people are still needed to do the most complex jobs. In this way, automation is focused on tasks rather than jobs. But as machines get more intelligent and more dexterous, we shall see if there's a change in the delicate balance between humans and robots in the workplace.
One big hurdle to reaching level 4 full autonomy is training computers to respond to every potential eventuality on the roads, including distracted human drivers. But computers can make mistakes too. In February, Google was forced to make changes to its algorithms after one of its cars drove into a bus in Mountain View.